of spring, and that's what.
We're just gonna go through really quick. Nice. So that one was excellent. The reason why I say that is that's our goal. Yeah, exactly. Again, exactly. Nice, nice, nice. These are like 4 in a row that were excellent. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. There's a couple directions that I think we can go now. Is we can either think about touch throws, or I can really deep dive into the flick throwing form that I might want to touch on. But either are good options that we can talk about. Which one do you think you want to head into? The reason for that being, if now I'm moving into throwing straight up wind, or I'm throwing a huck and I need it to go a far distance, that means I need to incorporate more of my step into body rotation. But all of that is transferring the energy up my body into the shoulder, down through my elbow, into the wave of this throw. And if any part of that throwing motion is not smooth, then it will reduce the amount of force that you can put into the disc. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing you do is you start from neutral, you get to your set point, it's like a little bit of a pause, and then you throw.
Yeah.
The reason why I think that is not good in terms of consistency is because, okay, so like 1 or 2 years, I guess, of playing more consistently.
Yeah, so I guess the first year when I started,
Yeah.
it was just mainly at the pickup that
Yeah.
I played like once a week.
Yeah.
And then I think during the winter time, I started playing jam just because I wanted to
Yeah.
try something.
Yeah.
And then once I started getting more comfortable, and then we formed a team with our pickup, and then we started playing tuck. And then I did basically 1 full year of spring, summer, fall, and winter, and that's where I am now. And then I still play with my jam team.
Okay, gotcha. We're just gonna go through really quickly, essentially a few of every throw, just so I can see,
Yeah, that's
just so I can take a look. So just mirror me. So we'll do flat backhands first, and move this way so we're in line a little bit more, a little bit forward more. Perfect. Yeah, we're good. Sweet. Are you? Yeah. Okay. Never mind. And then let's do OI backhand. Do you know OI IO?
Yeah.
Sort of thing? Okay. Cool. And then just do IO. And we'll do flat flick. Nice. A couple more. OI. Nice. Nice. And then IO. Cool. And you said you mainly, like, you played a lot of badminton before, is that right? Okay. So actually that'll be to your benefit quite a bit. Like, I find that anybody that plays racket sports, offhand, so lefty, anyone that plays racket sports generally they have solid fundamentals. So it's like, because it's a lot of wrist snap, like motion, right? So I'm even seeing that on a lot of your throws, like we'll do scoobers or just like high releases, stuff like that, yeah. I'm seeing that with a lot of your throws. They're coming out very stable, so they're not wobbly. So in my mind, that means you have you have good either grip or you have good wrist snap, which again are generally pretty important from my understanding from badminton. That's good. Nice. Anything else? Let's do high release backhands and flicks, just to see. Nice. And flick. Next. Okay, so we're gonna go into flick for a second. Yep. So for the first ones, yeah, we have about 25 minutes. So we'll end at 3:40. 25 minutes, what do I wanna focus on? Flick. Okay, what I really wanna give you by the end of today is essentially kind of like top 3-4 cues that you can think about when you are warming up for game or like for jam, for tuck, whatever. And then hopefully you can build these mechanics into your throwing motion so that when, my whole thought process and approach, if you watch that Julian video, is I like to think and explain, here are some fundamental things that I'm seeing. Yeah. Here are some things that you can consider adding to it if you want, because I believe that the changes would result in a higher completion rate in terms of ceiling for those throws. But what the immediate cost is potentially lowering in accuracy or throwing percentage, just because, again, we're changing some things of your throwing form. So first thing that I always like to check out, and I'm just gonna face towards the camera too so you can see it as well, is just grip. So if I ask you to grab and hold it in your flick, how do you usually hold it? What I see in terms of neutral position is just like, you're not throwing it, you have a mark on, but you're just holding the disc. How do you hold it?
Basically held it like this.
Okay, so first thing right off the bat, really easy cue. I like always to hold it with two hands. The main reason being, with just one, like again, with an accurate throw, what I'm trying to control for with my grip is angle, which is up, like if it's traveling this way, or I'll just do it towards the camera. If it's traveling towards the disc, angle is up and down, and then edge is this. So angle and edge control basically dictate, what path the disc will take. So OI, IO, high release, low release, whatever. With hucks, those become extremely important. So if I'm just holding it in neutral position, and I don't have, like, if I just have one hand on it, sorry? Yeah, go for it. Yeah. If I only have it in one hand, it basically just means my right hand is completely in control of just this. And especially when I'm faking in things too, it's like, it's all relying on just my right hand. So in my mind, why not add the second one because it's there in neutral to help support and just control and offload this wrist. It just means it's working less. So that when you do need to, like, snap your wrist for a throw, you don't need to, it's not as fatigued. So that's first quick thing. Is that
makes sense.
When you have it, I would put the other hand, if you think about it like you're holding it like a clock, I would say arms are kind of dangling by your sides, your wrists. It can be pretty relaxing, like it doesn't have to be up. I would say like even down here is fine, or up like this. This angle doesn't matter too much, but what the keys that I'm looking for are is your right wrist when you're throwing this flick is neutral. I don't want it like bent or pre-cocked. And this other hand, it doesn't really matter where it sits, whatever feels comfortable. Sometimes I have it on like the 9 o'clock for the clock. Sometimes, on top, it's not too important here. In my mind, the more important thing is your wrist is neutral, so it's not like pre-cocked, and then your arms are kind of relaxed. Like some people like hold it out like this, and I feel like, again, it's just adding tension to your body where you don't really need it. Maybe the caveat is if there's a mark that's like trying to get in your disc space, you can hold it to like establish, but yeah, that's my thought. So first thing is, I would, neutral grip.
Like this?
Yeah. So again, hold it neutral in your flick. Instead of, again, a lot of people will just hold it backhand. And because most of the time, especially in jam and tuck, they force flick. It's like, why not hold it in the flick force or flick grip?
And then just do like.
Yeah, and then from here, again, hold it again. This is pre-cocked. So I want this to be neutral. Yeah, so
like
just,
this?
yeah, even this is still, you notice how there's an angle?
So you just want to like.
Yeah, so no, is it okay if I just like touch it?
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
So just come closer too so I can point it out. Hold it neutral. Like with the other hand. Yeah, so neutral position means like, yes, like this. Let's see. I think that's fine, yeah. Like it is a little bit, but not too much, that's fine. And like again, even it feels like your elbows right now are pushed up a bit. You can kind of like let these drop by your sides, and it's more like the shoulders being relaxed, yeah. So that's position, that's neutral position. Now I'm gonna talk about grip and some of the important things here, right? For my own awareness, how much of the longer YouTube video of Julian did you watch?
I watched it in and out during like while I was working.
Okay, so not too much in terms of direct attention, right? Okay, so I'll speak to exactly some of the things that I'm seeing right now. So again, when I'm thinking about, let's say I'm throwing in this direction, right? The throwing motion for flick, this is why, again, I think racket sports really helps a lot, because I've never played badminton, but I assume when you're like using the racket to smash the birdie, like you need a tight grip, because if you don't, then it's like it's gonna slip, right? It's the exact same thing with the frisbee, because again, angle, edge control are so important. If you're going through this throwing motion, and again, you're putting a lot of force quickly through the plastic, right? You're trying to transfer as much energy in terms of rotation to the disc as possible with that wrist snap at the end. If you have a loose grip and it slides or shifts as you're in the throwing motion, that means it's changing in edge and angle, so you're never gonna have a consistent throw. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so because of that, a tight grip is very important in my mind for flick. So I'll show you like the cue, I'll give you a bunch of cues, but just to give you an awareness of like how tightly I'm actually holding the disc naturally or usually, is you can see the indent in the disc, right? Like that's how tightly usually I just hold the disc. Because like, again, I don't want it to shift when I'm faking, like if I'm throwing to here, right? Like if you're just like, yeah, just like you can see from this side, or you can go in front too, but it's like I'll hold it in neutral, and if there's a mark, like I need to be able to fake, come back, and like I don't want this to slip out, so I need it to be tight in terms of my hand, right? Like I don't want it to be like shifting, and then I need to like put two hands on it, adjust again, and then come back. So that's why tight grip is really important. So now when I'm looking at your grip, and we'll hold it in neutral again, yep. So the thumb on the ridge is good. So again, when I'm thinking about tight grip, it's pushing down with this thumb, and then opposing that is these fingers as well. So it's almost like a pincer. So I am in the flick, pushing down with my thumb, pushing up with these fingers, and almost like diagonal, like the side of my my ring finger is also pinching this way. So it's like this motion is pinching here on the ridge, and I'm also pushing up with these two fingers against the thumb. Does that make sense? Does that feel different than what you're doing?
Sometimes I do that. when I want to do like a bit of a further throw,
Yeah, like a huck?
release it.
Yeah.
I just like pinch it and then I go.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
then you want me to do it like most of the time.
I would say that it's a good habit to do, and also though, I am aware that especially with players that are not used to this, this is very tiring because again, you're exerting a lot of force. It's going to be tiring for your muscles.
Yeah.
So I would say like, just keep it in mind, especially when you're doing maybe if, you know, what the drill is that I'm going to say at the end is like specific reps. So it's before jam, before tuck, or afterwards if you just want to get some reps in. It's like, I'm going to give you maybe like a 30 to 50 range of just 10-yard flicks with a partner. And those are when, okay, I'm going to think about, you know, I'm going to give you 3 cues. Like that's probably one of them is like, okay, I want a tight grip because I want to practice that and get that ingrained in muscle memory. So then that's one of the cues that I want. It's going to be like thumb on the ridge, you know, that pinching motion between thumb and fingers and also this way. And that all contributes to tight grip. So it's like first checklist, step 1, tight grip, okay, good. But in game, again, like hopefully you can start transitioning that into game. That's building muscle memory, but it's not super, super important. If you forget, then that's fine. If you mess up a throw and it slips out, that could be just a reminder of like, oh, maybe my grip wasn't tight. Yeah, that's what I thought. Any questions there?
No, that's fine. Because I do grip it like a lot harder when I'm trying to like huck it longer.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's just because I think for me when I'm trying to do like the shorter throws, and then depending on like who I'm throwing it to, sometimes I just loosen it just because that person I know won't be able to catch it like
for sure.
a faster one, right?
Yes. So when you're adding, that's the nuance that I'll give for sure. If you're adding touch on the throw, generally when you're in the throwing motion, you need to add like more touch, which means more spin, like higher spin to make it stable, but not as much velocity or speed, so it's easily catchable. You need to slow down the arm motion, but lots of wrist snap. But if you don't have it's very tough to do that if you have a death grip on the disc. So I agree. But in general, especially just again neutral and when you're faking, I want it to be tight because I don't want it to shift before I get into the throwing motion. So for me, again, to add nuance, and specifically in this case, it's like if I'm throwing a touch throw to a player that may be newer and like I know that they can't maybe catch like a faster frisbee or a faster throw, I'll still have it tight, but as I go through this throwing motion, like I'll just show you over here. Like I have it tight grip, and then as I go into this, I slow down my arm motion. I release a little bit of pressure, but it's still tight. And then I'm really focusing on the wrist snap at the end. So it's a lot more slow, but still stable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we just talked about a bunch in terms of your grip, in terms of your neutral position. So I'm gonna ask you again, get in your neutral position. Yeah, and we'll actually just face this way.
Yeah.
Good, so that second hand too, I would even like, instead of the finger being like this, I would just curl it under.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's just for me personally. That's
so then I can just...
Yeah, because my whole thought process is like, eventually if you get to this, like to the comfortability level of like wanting to throw lefties, it's like, I usually throw a lefty with my regular.
Oh, and then I can just go into it.
Yeah, because it's like, again, I have it in neutral position, right? If I want to throw the lefty, like let's say there's a cut coming break side from it, it's like I can fake the flick, I can come back here, fake the backhand if somebody bites on the mark, then I just come up and I throw the lefty. Yeah. So it's like the reason why I ask you to bring your finger down is just, I think again, it's good habit to not have the finger on the ridge, especially with backhand. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna look at now a bunch of your fakes. So I want you to just like, I'm just gonna walk around you, do everything from this neutral in terms of the throw, but don't throw it.
Okay.
So just keep doing that over and over. I just wanna look. Yeah, and just keep going. No, just the flick, just the flick, yeah. So I want you to, I'll demo it too, what I see. I want you to like hold it in neutral, go into your throwing motion, and then come back to neutral, pause, throwing motion.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, okay, super quick too. Come, show the camera. When you're in neutral, hold it. Oh, that's not, so go through the fake again. Are you on? Yeah, go through the fake. And keep doing it. Oh, you've changed it now. Okay, it's super small, but this is another, I didn't go over this, but sometimes when you're resting in neutral, I'm seeing there's a huge gap here. When you were faking it, you didn't do it, there was no gap. But again, coming back to I want a tight grip, if there's a gap here, that means even if I have a tight grip, it's like, it's able to move.
Okay.
So, especially in these fakes, the checklist for tight grip in my mind is thumb on the ridge. Your fingers are pressed like we talked about, so that's number 2. Third is no gap here.
Okay.
Fourth is wrist is neutral, in this neutral position. And then fifth has to do a step, but we're not gonna talk about that right now. Yeah, so get a little bit more neutral, yeah. Again, if it feels more natural, it doesn't have to be like flat. If it's like this, that's okay too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but again, the key thing here is I want neutral wrist and fake it a bunch, yeah. Good. Yeah. Nice. No, that looks solid. How does that feel?
It actually feels a bit better.
Yeah, like more secure, right? That's exactly what we want in terms of
Yeah,
the
now I
state.
can feel like I can actually control where I want it. If I can like OI or IO.
Yeah, exactly. And now again, when I'm thinking about, just pause for a sec, if I'm thinking about I want to be able to learn how to throw OIs, IOs in wind, whatever, my whole thought process is with this now as the foundation, if I go in with specific reps in tossing sessions and I want to work on OI, I know I have the solid foundation, so now I can just throw from here.
Yeah.
Right? And then I can build and build.
Yeah, but now my fingers are.
It's tired, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's get some reps in because I know we've been talking for a bit. Let's just toss like that. Nice. Yeah. Again, accuracy is going to go down because we just changed a bunch. That's okay. Nice. Nice. How does that feel?
Less control right now, but
Yeah.
it is going a lot faster and where I want to go.
Nice. So that one was excellent. So notice the reason why I say that is obviously it was accurate, but there was no wobble at all. Did you see like notice
Yeah,
the difference in that one?
that one felt the best out of the other ones. 'Cause
Yeah.
it just went straight at you.
Yes. So the cue there is again, it's like if I throw a lefty, like you notice how there's a little bit of
A
wobble.
little bit, just at the
Yeah. That in my mind means either your grip was off or you're not getting enough rotation on it. So you're not holding it tight enough or you're not snapping your wrist enough. So it's like again, we've changed a bunch. So it's one of those things when you're throwing, you need kind of like all the things to do work together, but there is an order of operations of things. So if we just worked on grip, which I think is very top of thing, but then that affects everything else, right? So I just want to call out that is exactly what you want to look for and try to emulate and try to get more often. That's our goal. Yeah, exactly. Again, exactly. Yeah. Nice, nice, nice. These are like 4 in a row that were excellent. Yeah. Yeah, nice.
Okay, yeah, I feel the path of it and just the velocity is actually going up.
Yeah.
It's a lot faster and it's going straighter.
These are like 6 in a row. Okay, wow. Okay, now I think because we have about 15 minutes. If you found value in this, please like and subscribe. Thank you.
Please.
Okay. Yep. We have. Yep. There have been times where I just forget to start recording,
Yeah.
so double check. Okay, we just went over a lot. Something that I again like to do is gap effect, so I'm just gonna say 30 seconds. You can feel free to grab water, close your eyes, whatever, we're not gonna talk. Just kind of reflect and think about what we just did, and then I'm gonna ask after anything in particular stand out or what you noticed. Cool. Okay, any thoughts?
Yeah, so I noticed when I was throwing, it's just with the tighter grip and I was able to just get it to you without having to even just like miss throwing it even a little bit.
Yeah.
It got to you a lot faster than I thought it would have gone. And with the tighter grip, I have more control of where I want to throw it and how I want to throw it.
Yeah, like you have more ability to control angle edge.
So it's more now if I want to like do an easy like OI or like an IO, I can do it instead of having to like just turn my wrist.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, sweet. There's a couple directions that I think we can go now for the last like 10, 15 minutes. Is we can either think about maybe some touch throws and like specifics, or I can really deep dive into, I'm seeing a few other things in terms of the flick throwing form that I might want to touch on, but either are good options that we can talk about. Which one do you think you want to head into more?
Probably the throwing form because
Throwing form.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So because of that then, I'm gonna grab more of the discs. I'm actually just gonna ask you again just to keep throwing into the net, just so I can watch. I'm also gonna get some angles from the side, so if there are any things that I see in particular, then I can send you the recording after.
Okay.
So yeah, just fire off some flicks while I watch. So yeah, no need to fake, just go into your throwing motion. And with this one, let me think. If you need to step out a little bit, you can, but don't go into the full.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really try to do full. I don't full because most of the time when I'm playing against like jam people, they don't.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But like sometimes I do, and I notice when I do like when I'm practicing, I do it. I have more of like an OI into it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me, honestly, based on everything that I've done in terms of teaching before. That checks out. Nice. 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 Excellent. Could you collect the discs? I'm just going to move the camera so I can get a view. What we're going to do is, I want the front, yeah. Cool. Thank you. I'll grab these ones. Good. Okay. And then go again for the reps, because I just wanted to be able to show you this angle too. Laser, exactly on. Nice. Okay, pause. Actually, do 2 more, just so I can get the camera angle too. Okay, pause. Yeah. So what I'm going to mention is, like, first of all, again, no wobble at all. So I think that's excellent. I love that. Now we're just talking about some throwing motion pieces that I think will help with accuracy. Okay. So is it okay if I just step here, just to show? So what I was seeing specifically from this angle. So when I send you the replay, you can refer to it as well for when I was seeing your throwing form. But there's a piece that I actually don't know, so I'll actually maybe ask you from the badminton side what it's like. But what I'm seeing from the throwing motion is so we've talked about neutral position, right? There's a point that I like to call set point, which is like when I'm from neutral to the farthest backmost point until I go into my forward part of the throwing motion. Yep. The backmost point is my set point. So what I'm seeing you do is you start from neutral, you get to your set point, almost like double, like it's like a little bit of a pause, and then you throw. Yep. So how I refer to that usually is like a two motion throw, as opposed to one motion throw being, so if I'm gonna throw these, it's like I come from my set point, I come from my neutral to my set point and throw it all in one motion. It's one fluid thing as opposed to a pause. Yep. So as a demo, it looks like, as opposed to two motion, I'm gonna exaggerate too, but it's like, does that make sense? Yeah. So what I was seeing with you do is, again, it's very subtle, but it looks like you are holding it in your neutral, coming back here, pausing a little bit. It's almost like your elbow bounces a little forward sometimes, and then goes into the throwing motion. The reason why I think that is not good in terms of consistency is because this like pause here means that with the throw, especially with the flick, you're essentially turning your arm into a whip, right? So just as important as the forward part of the motion and then the snap at the end is the wind up, because this is also like, you can think about it like, again, it's the back part of the whip. I imagine in badminton, it's like the wind up of
just going back and like cocking it and then
going. Yeah. I think it's like, if there in this throwing motion is a small pause, maybe it's okay, but I'm seeing it tends for you a little bit too long. Because again, I want to use this backward momentum of my throwing motion into the forward throw. Okay. If I pause here, that means I need to generate it all essentially from zero.
Just the core, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like and with a shorter throw and from a fundamentals perspective, I just want your body to get used to, again, translating the energy or transferring it in the wave very consistently, very smoothly. The reason for that being, if now I'm moving into, let's say I'm throwing straight up wind, or I'm throwing a huck and I need it to go a far distance, that means I need to incorporate more of my step into momentum, into like body rotation. But all of that is transferring the energy up my body into the shoulder, down through my elbow, into the wave of this throw, transferring as much energy momentum into the throw as I can. And if any part of that throwing motion is not like smooth, i.e. if it's two motion, then it will reduce the amount of, in my mind, force that you can put into the disc. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, cool. Any questions? If you found value in this, please like and subscribe. Thank you.
Please. Okay. Stop a little bit and then I go, right?
With golf, is it like you're supposed to do that?
It varies really.
Okay.
But like obviously for sure it's supposed to be one just like swing motion, but then now I'm still learning, right? So I just do a stop and then I go, right?
Okay. So I think situationally it is fine sometimes to pause a bit, especially if like there's a mark, maybe you're like waiting for a second to see if the lane gets there. But again, from a like 10,000 feet view of building fundamentals. I want you to practice one motion.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's do a few more throws with that, just so you can see.
So just.
Yeah, exactly, good. And again, pause for a second. Tight grip, everything that we talked about before, still applies first. So even though we're learning and thinking about new things, those are the foundation things. So go back to that, yeah. Good, excellent. Excellent. So it doesn't have to be rushed, but it is just one motion. It can be very slow, but still one motion. Yes, yes. Yes, good. Excellent, nice.
Yeah, I think more for me, I think when I'm trying to throw it longer, I'll just stop a little bit and then I'll release it.
Yeah, so it's especially for even long throws.
Yeah.
One throw or one motion is more important. Yeah. Okay, we'll do a few more reps of this and then I'll ask any questions for that. But honestly, that's really solid. Yeah. It's okay. Again, accuracy will drop because we just changed a bunch. It's okay. Nice. Can you just fake it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not too picky about that. Okay, cool. Nice.
Okay. I usually can't get the throws to go higher now, but I can.
But now you're getting it, yeah. So now we have to adjust the other
They
way.
usually don't float up.
Yeah, okay.
But now they are.
So I'm gonna grab the side angle too after this, actually. Well, I'll just go now. And I will also, go ahead and throw, actually. Nice, excellent. What are you noticing right now in terms of how it feels, the changes that we've made? Just to note, we have about 5 more minutes, I think.
Yep. It's definitely less accuracy, but I can feel that there's power going through with the throw for sure. I'll be able to get it a lot further now than I can before.
So I want to do, with these last 5 minutes, very quickly, 2 or 3 reps of this so I can get the side angle. I'm gonna talk briefly about then what drill, again, you can do before or after jam games to work on this specifically and ingrain it. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead and toss. I'm very glad that didn't fall over. That would have been bad. Yeah, so the key thing that I also want to call out too that you're doing really well is when you're going to this throwing motion and just fake it, so just fake it a bunch. What I'm seeing is the plane of your body, this elbow, it's coming back, so that means you're using from the shoulder essentially this entire whip.
Yeah, I'm feeling more power going, just more spin through it.
Yeah, no, I think that is excellent because that is a movement that I see a lot of people when they do flick, they don't have. And I wonder if it's because of, again, racket sports or anything, but that looks great. Okay, really quickly now too. This is one last edit that I want to make and give you thought of because, again, now with these changes, all of the throws are coming up, right? Upward angle. So why that is happening is because in your throwing motion, what I'm seeing is, I'm gonna step here, just to show you, and just view it from the front too. Or maybe I'll show it on an angle so we can see, or both, I'll do both. In this throwing motion, what you're doing is, again, your elbow's leading, but you're letting your forearm, this angle of the forearm, as you start pushing your elbow forward, this is dropping.
Okay.
So because of that, and you're releasing it from low, the way you get it to chest level is you are, in your throw, angling it up. And this is a very hard thing to keep consistent. Because again, if you angle it up a little too much, it's gonna go way high, right? Especially as you add distance, and especially if you're throwing upwind. It's just gonna catch and go. Yeah. So the adjustment that you can make in these throws is, again, exact same throwing motion, but instead now pay attention as you start moving this elbow forward, keeping this forearm almost at instead of not necessarily parallel, it can be, but that feels a little bit more comfortable, a little bit up, almost like 10 degrees upwards. Yeah. Because again, like I'll just come here and we'll just demo. We'll probably have to go soon, but just like face this way so I can show you, and like step that way so you can show the camera. Hold it in your set point. Yeah, so it's like, notice how push forward here at an angle, push, push, push. Yeah, push, 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 and then stop. And then now if I move the arm down and push, 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 which feels easier to push harder?
This one.
This one feels easier. Oh, okay. Can we try again?
Yeah.
So grip it tight, push.
Oh, yeah, never mind. After, yeah.
And push hard? Which feels easier?
I still think I can do this.
This one? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, that makes it's like, I think it can be individual. In my experience, I think with people, at least from, maybe I'll talk to my trainer about this after. I'm actually not sure why, but it feels more natural for most people, in my experience, to hold it and like release it more like this. So OI naturally.
Yeah.
And I think that if it's more easy for you to do it flat, that's actually great, because it's usually harder for people to get it flat.
Yeah.
All to say, with these flicks, instead of bringing your forearm down at an angle, think about keeping it parallel to the ground, for you specifically. I think for most people, I'd say just a higher up angle, but for you, keep it flat.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's do a few reps of this, and then we probably have to back it up. Nice. Good. Yeah, that one. Did you notice that one?
Yeah.
That one was completely flat forearm, which was excellent. Nice. I'm just going to check one thing. Oh, be right back. Sorry, 1 second. We will quickly go over on video what I want you to do from a rep standpoint. So I think your top cues that we've talked about are, it's the grip. So, it's neutral, it's that support. There's a lot of things that go into that. But again, to quickly recap, it's that support hand. It's the tight grip, talking about thumb on the ridge, fingers curled under, tight grip where it's like almost indented sometimes. Yep. Neutral wrist, that's very important. So it's grip in general is one thing for you. Second thing, that last one's good. Second thing is when you are thinking about going into the throwing motion, it's a one motion throw instead of two motion.
Yep.
If there's a little bit of a pause, that's okay, but we really want to focus on one motion. The third thing for you specifically is when you're going into this flick, instead of letting that forearm drop, keeping it parallel to the ground. So you don't have to compensate with an upward angle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you're doing these drills, again, before jam, before tuck, or after, and getting specific reps, what I want you to do is, again, probably 30 to 50 range, grab a partner, and just kind of tell them, you want to work on focus throws. It might be a bit weird, but I don't want you to talk. I don't want you to listen to music. I want you to, again, just focus on those three things, and then go into the throw. Do that 30 to 50 times. Okay. I would say 50 if you can, if you have time, right? Yeah. 10 yards. And anytime you make a mistake, I'll demo it too, okay? If you miss throw, or like just throw it to me, and like, you bobble a catch, whatever, like you just drop it, just again, reset, take a breath, remind yourself of those cues. So grip, I'm gonna do one motion throw, I'm going to parallel arm, okay? And then go into the throw again, okay? What I don't want is you to make a mistake, get in your own head, and then immediately try to throw again. Because I don't think that leads to positive results, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions about everything we've talked about?
No, that's good. It's
Okay.
just, well, whenever I drop something or I don't catch it, I just pause where I am anyways, and then if I'm playing, I'll just go up the field, and then I'll think about it after.
Sweet.
So it's something that I always do.
No, but already this looks just like, I can tell you have a lot of, again, power, and it's so stable. The thing that I think will be next steps for you is working on the touch, potentially. What that'll look like is, again, I'll just, for the video and for your awareness, it's slowing down arm speed. So this part of the throw slows down. So it looks like this, but it's still lots of wrist snap and tight grip. So what that does is it turns like a quick throw into a slow throw, but still stable. So it's like slow down the arm motion and wrist snap. Yeah, but even that, you notice how like you transferred a lot of the forward momentum of your arm? Yeah, so you want to slow it down.
And just
and almost like just loft it. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's the next step in my mind. But
Yeah, but that right now I still have to get used to.
yeah, the accuracy piece again, that'll be most of your throws in game, especially, where it's just like unders. But otherwise, any final questions for me or thoughts and concerns?
No, right now everything that I just learned right now is good because
Sweet.
I know I'll be able to use that. And
Awesome.
then when I'm practicing, I'll definitely do that for sure.
If you found value in this, please like and subscribe. Thank you.
Please.